So this Pontiac Grand Prix is the first car that I ever really owned and drove. It was my first daily driver. I drove the wheels off this thing, and when I first got it, it already had a little bit of a cooling problem, but nothing major. It would get a little bit hotter than it was supposed to, and then occasionally it would just shoot back down. I imagine that was air in the system. But it kept getting worse until it got to the point where getting to work was risky because it might start overheating in the last few stoplights from work. By that time, I had saved up enough. I was looking to get another car, and it basically pushed me to get the GTO that I got instead of looking around a little bit more. On the road to work, it was mostly just a straight line, no red lights or anything, until the last mile to work had 3 or 4 red lights. That would cause it to overheat for obvious reasons. There's no airflow, as opposed to the rest of the drive to work was 60 plus, we'll put it there. So I didn't even get the GTO right at the verge of the Grand Prix breaking down. I actually had to borrow a friend's car for, I think it was 3 weeks. And I got very lucky in that he had just bought a new car and had that one sitting around ready to use. And it was a piece of junk, but it got me to work, and I'm grateful for that. And it broke down shortly after that, but that's another story. I was pretty certain that the Grand Prix had a warped head. The lower intake manifold gaskets on those 3100, 3400 engines was made out of plastic and some weird rubber, and it was a weird design where the push rods go through. It has its problems, let's put it there. But that had already been replaced with a heavy-duty metal variant that Felpro makes, and that's what I ended up putting on. So I figured since it had that heavy-duty gasket at the known failure point, most likely it's either a head gasket, it has never been replaced in the 188,000 miles that it's been driven, and it could be a warped head. I'm still not sure to this day what it was, but I'm pretty sure it was a warped head. I measured it with a straight edge that had been in the garage for years and years. I don't know how old the tool was, but the straight edge showed that there were gaps in the head, so it was probably a warped head. So I tore it all down, had the heads out, had the head components like the valves and valve springs and keepers and everything taken out, cleaned up. I ended up losing the valves, so I ended up buying a set of 12 valves for the thing. One of the cylinder heads had 2 screws in it that no matter what I tried, I just could not get them extracted out of there. So I figured I might as well just get a new head. It's probably warped anyway, these studs are stuck in it. I might as well just start fresh. And when I bought it, it came with the rocker arms attached, the valves, and the entire assembly for the top end. And at that point, I figured I might as well return the valves that I bought, and because of the price of the valves and the price of the head after discounts, it came out to being where the heads were maybe $20 more expensive than just the valves alone, or maybe it was something of the valves and something else, I don't remember. But the point being is it was going to be the same price to just get remanufactured heads, so I just bought those heads, slapped them on with the heavy-duty head gaskets from Felpro, and reassembled the whole thing. It turned out pretty nice. When I get back to Florida, there's a few power steering things that I need to fix on it, but other than that, it's probably going to be running like a new car. At least that's what I keep telling myself. Well, thanks for listening. I'll have some more normal videos out soon. Oh, and here's some other videos. I forget to make the end cards all the time, so bam, bam, bam. There we go. I'm working on how oxygen sensors work, something about spark plugs, I don't know what yet. I've got a few repair videos coming up, like the water pump on the GTO, how to flush a power steering system. I'm gonna work on some really nice how things work videos. Stick around, it's gonna be great.